Another topic to talk about is the anatomy, as we call it, of a personal injury case. So many people that are in the car accident for a first time or never hired a lawyer before don't really understand what all is involved with a case and what happens from beginning to end. And I want to outline it for you and just give you a general idea of what happens when you hire an attorney. And it's important because the service-oriented attorneys offer personal attention and personal service unrivaled, and you can't compare what I'm talking about, as I talked about in one of my earlier presentations, with TV lawyers. I'm talking about the anatomy of a personal injury case as an attorney like me would handle from beginning to end. So you meet with an attorney, you have a consultation, you meet with that attorney, you find out all about his background, his experience, and you decide, okay, this is the firm I want to hire. You sign the paperwork. You're allowed to, the attorney will inform you that you can check his record out on the Florida bar. We encourage everyone to check out an attorney's record with the Florida bar before they sign on the dotted line. Then your attorney will take that case and just run with it. Inform everybody who's involved that now you're represented by an attorney, and the only person that anybody out there, the insurance companies or other parties, can talk to is your attorney. You're pretty much hands off now. If anything needs to be done, your attorney handles it for you. So that's the one huge element of hiring an attorney, and that's something that everybody really knows about. But there's other things that we do that people don't know too much about. And what we do is we quarterback, if you will, or manage your case from beginning to end. We look at the medical doctors that you're going to. We have open lines of communication with them so we can determine exactly what's going on with you medically, and make sure that all the doctors know all your insurance information, and make sure that your bills can get paid timely, and to avoid things like collection and so forth. So along the way, we're monitoring your case. When it comes to a certain point, we asked the insurance companies to attempt to settle with us. 90% of all of our cases settle long before we have to sue anybody, because A, we're trial attorneys and the insurance companies in the industry know that. So they're going to talk to us up front, and we present a case to them pre-suit or before we sue anyone, like we were in a lawsuit. So we give an insurance company a package, if you will. When you're finished with your treatment, or at a certain point in your treatment when the doctors can write certain reports for me that can tell me what's wrong with you and what your prognosis is for the future, I present that along with maybe your medical history, some other facts about you, pictures of the accident. We just build a big picture about you, and we present that to the insurance company in the form of a claim. And then we negotiate. And again, 90% of our cases settle at that point. Then the case doesn't settle, then we have to file a lawsuit. So 10% of the time, we can never predict whether you're going to be in that percentile. It just really depends on how the negotiations go. It's different with every company and every different adjuster that you have to deal with. Then we have to file a suit. Lawsuits are really a four-step process. First is the filing of the lawsuit, of course. You file, you sue that person, and the proper people actually get the physical lawsuit served upon them. And then you go into a written discovery phase. A discovery phase is which each side can find out all different kinds of things about each other. The other side gets to look at your medical history and your life, really. Your life, unfortunately, in these type of cases, become an open book to a certain extent. Now, not everything is, they don't talk about everything. There's a lot of personal things they don't talk about. But what I'm saying is that you have to be open to the fact that you're going to be under a microscope, because you're making a claim in a court of law, and the judges allow certain things to happen. And then you actually have to have your deposition taken. So you actually have to sit down and answer questions too. So you get through the written part, then you have to do a verbal part. And after all that discovery is done, you basically sit down at the table again and negotiate again in a mediation. So all the parties get together and sit at a table just like this, and we talk to each other about the case. It's court required on every case, and we actually do that. And again, sometimes we do it on video, and we do a nice presentation for the insurance company and the lawyers, and explain to them why the value of your particular case and what the insurance company should be doing for you should happen. Okay, it's just like you would think intuitively. We have the evidence to back up what we're saying and the claims that we make to the insurance company, because they're the check writers, and you have to prove your case and you have to show that. walking in the door and saying, oh, we're entitled to tons of money. A lot of these big shot lawyers think they can do that, and that's why they get stuck in these systems and their clients' cases go nowhere and it spins around in this cyclone because they're not properly moving a case through every step, and that's what's important. And then finally, after mediation, the vast majority of cases end there, but then you have an actual jury trial, and that's a whole another can of worms, and it's something that we try to avoid for our clients because it's just not a pleasant process. It's stressful for most people, and it takes up days and weeks of your time. We try to do our best to not get you in that position, but if we have to, we've done plenty and we know what we're doing. So that is basically the anatomy of a case from beginning to end, except for one other point. At the end of your case, there's always medical bills to deal with and reconciling and things of that nature. And what's nice about it is, with a firm like ours, we're going to take those medical bills, we're going to take those healthcare issues, healthcare liens, your healthcare has paid things, maybe workers' compensation has paid some of your bills, and we're going to reconcile that for you. We're going to make sure that the bills get paid. We're going to make sure when you walk away from the case, you have a closing statement, just like you would in a real estate transaction, with everything listed item by item, and a check. And that's how, that's service from beginning to end, and that's what we do. Any questions?
Yeah, John, how often should someone hear from their lawyer through the ongoing case? Do you hear from weekly, once a month, all the time, or does the client call you?
Well, it certainly depends upon where you are in your part of the case. Sometimes you could be speaking with your attorney multiple times during a week, or sometimes it could be a couple of months while you're going through that medical care and things are happening. What's nice is that, yes, communication with a lawyer is important, and at any point in time, and I'll use myself as an example, a person can pick up their phone and call me on my cell phone. Clients are not allowed to speak to secretaries or legal staff. They only speak to their lawyer. Why? Because that's exactly what people want. Just your question. They want to be able to talk to their attorney, and I think it's imperative that all attorneys do this, but most don't. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.